welcome back, guys. It is me, Jack, and your boy Phil here, back with our next episode in the Digimon playthrough series that we're doing. So, you might be wondering, Jack, what the fuck's going on? Did I miss an ep? Why are we in the middle of a battle? Why are you doing all this off-screen excitement without us? Basically, I felt that every single episode we kicked it off, we were standing outside Digimon's house deciding what we were going to do and stuff like that. So we have made a decision on what we're doing with this episode today, but I thought I'd kick us off just with a little battle straight off the bat, because Phil was feeling a bit rowdy and he was kind of communicating that. So all we've done is we've spoken to our new friend Whamon, who we picked up at the end of the last episode in the Bandit Cave when we dished out a slice of ass kicking on those guys. Whamon took us to Factorial Town, which we've never been to before, and yet here we are here. So again, nothing exciting has happened. We've just travelled on Whamon. We actually dumped some stuff in the bank real quick before that. Then we headed on to Factorial Town, and this is us here now. If you were to have played Digimon World Next Order, there was a machine type sort of area of that map, which is very, very reminiscent of the Factorial Town that we're now in here in Digimon World 1. So this place is flooded with machine Digimon and also these Platinum Sukamon that you're seeing now. Now the reason for that, or at least the reason for the Platinum Sukamon being here, is because there's also a sewer part, very, again, similar to Next Order. So this place is like a machiney kind of sewery kind of place, I guess, but predominantly it's filled by machine type Digimon. So we're going to bump into a few of those house cats in a while. First of all though, we've just quickly jumped down here because there isn't a lot to do in the sewer, but we're going to trigger this real quick first of all. So something's going on with Phil. There's something absolutely rotten coming from the sewer, which is just tasty as fuck. And it might have something to do with this guy. Are you alright? I don't feel good, says Numamon. I feel sick and I have no energy. Well, mate, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't have been out with the lads last night. Where is this drainage coming from? I'm going to go and check it out. So you can tell already that there's something weird going on here, as there is in every part of File Island at the moment. But here down in the sewer, there's just this red fog covering the screen, so there's something dodgy going on. And as always, we're going to have to put on our ass-kicking gloves and figure out what the fuck's happening. So let's explore another part of the map. Along here and into this room, we're going to find one of the most important people of Factorial Town. And that is Andromon. Now, I remember Andromon from the show and also playing this game, being an exceptionally badass Digimon. He looks kind of a bit like a... I don't know, he looks like a bit of a nerd standing here in front of us, but he is obviously an ultimate and incredibly powerful, so we're going to give him his respect and give him a little chit-chat. But unfortunately, Andromon says, if you don't have any business here, just leave. Okay, so he's just going to straight up tell us to fuck off, so we're going to go and find out what we have to do next. So let's go in and take a peek in here, because this area is quite important and I'll explain why in just a second. So, we've looked in the sewer and we've looked in the main entrance and the main hub, spoke to Andromon, and the next part of the map is along past these two Guardromon, but they don't look like they're moving anywhere. You can't get through here apparently. This factory must be drained, or the factory must be draining their waste to the sewage, and I have to find out what's going on, says us. Can you move please? You can't get through here not without a permit. Well, does it count that we're an absolute raid boss and we've got somewhere to be? Is that gonna... No? Okay. Sorry, you have to have a permit. Okay, so these guys are just not going to get out of our way, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Let's try and talk to our boy Andromon now and see if this has changed his dialogue. I'm hoping that it does. Yo, yo, yo. How did you get into the town? We got to talk about that later. I got to check the factory out right now. This is a life and death situation. Give me the okay. So apparently we know, as Andromon being a badass, that he's probably the boss around here. Definitely wearing the metaphorical trousers. Well, maybe not. Inside Factorial Town, and we're looking for him to give us permission. He says that he can't give us permission though, so that kind of sucks. From the factory, no way. The wastewater cleaning system is working fine, apparently. I don't know if you've been down there, but shit's gone weird. I mean, Nunamon's losing his fucking shit. Our computer is perfect. In emergencies, the netkeeper will shut down the system. Are you telling me that the netkeeper will always work correctly? We ask him. blah blah blah. Basically, Andromon is not pleased with us, but now we've forwarded the dialogue, we can go out and find out what's going on. Now here's the trick to Factorial Town, and this might have stumped a couple of people when they were younger. We can't get into this next area until the Giromon move. Now the Giromon won't move until it's time for their shift change. Now I know that sounds extremely cheesy, but that's just the deal that's going on here, folks, alright? Now the shift change is at 12 o'clock at midnight and 12 o'clock at noon. Okay, and the window for getting in is extremely small. So basically, if you check the clock in the top left hand corner of the screen, when that arrow pops to where it is about now, we can get into the next area. Now I don't actually think it's this hour. It is actually this hour. Alright, fantastic. So I actually thought we were an hour early there and I was going to have to run about doing some battles, but it turns out we've nailed it right on the fucking head, which is excellent. So the guards aren't here, we can get past. I don't know why we couldn't have just dished out an ass kicking on them, but apparently those Giromon weren't particularly hostile and wouldn't let us past anyway. So here we are in the next area. Now I quite like Factorial Town, it's got these nice sort of big wide open roads. But there are times like this when some of the Digimon that we're going to try and squeeze past are kind of awkward. Now I think we can get past these guys with no trouble at all. And we're going to head down here. This is one of the main reasons why we're in Factorial Town for this episode. Boom, HP chip number 1. Alright, excellent. What we got in here? Boom, MP chip number 2. So suddenly that's going to give us a massive leg up on our ever closing road to Metal Greymon. So again, our stats are still under. Again, I'll throw up the stat targets that we're trying to hit on the left for you guys, just as a reminder in case you missed that last time. But we're still having to pick up chips. And again, that's one of the prime reasons why we're here in Factorial Town. Now, although we won't be cleaning up all of the things in Factorial Town this episode, we will be picking up as many chips as we can. And there are a good few in here. So let's see who else we've got. Right, we've got a cheeky Whamon here. I think you can dodge this guy, but it's extremely difficult. I do think you could sneak past him without any trouble, but I never get it, so we're just gonna have to give him a little slapperoonie. Our HP and MP is fine right now, but our MP definitely needs topped up. So let's go and give Phil some extra juice to kick some ass, and we'll see if we can end this battle nice and snappy. Because really, who really wants to watch us getting beaten up by a green shit? I'm not particularly interested, but you know, anytime today, Phil. There we go. Boom. Fantastic. So what we'll do is we'll try and stick this on Phil just as the battle ends, and move on. So we actually get some okay stats from that. Not going to complain. And Whamon is going to slide on it off like the lad that he is. So let's have a quick peek up here and see what else is going on. Now we've got a door to our left here. Very important door. We're not going to go in there just yet. I don't mean to tease you guys or whatever, but that is an important room and we're not quite ready for that yet. Technically we are kind of ready, but there's reasons why. We'll come back to that at a later date and I'll explain why nearer to that time. We're going to try and get past these two Giromon. I think we can do that, no problem. Awesome. And in here we've got another 3 computers. Computer number 1, brain chip. You're starting to see why I love Factorial Town. It's pretty good. What we got in here? An autopilot, excellent. Can never run out of those. And another defense chip, which we can't hold actually. So let's quickly fire one of these down Phil. We could definitely use with some extra MP, so if Phil's going to take that, excellent. And that'll let us pick up this defense chip right here. Now, I would love to stay in Factorial Town and do a bit more ass kicking, but in truth, we actually should be heading back to the site, and I'm going to tell you guys why in just a second. Phil, we talked about this. Let's see if we can just give him it again without scolding him. This might not work, but yeah, it did. Okay, so we don't actually have to scold Phil. Good lad. So here we are back at File City, our favourite hub of happiness and joy. Now, what we're going to do is look at Phil's stats again real quick. And we're actually just going to scrap that and stuff some of these chips down Phil. So, most importantly, defense chip. Boom. Phil, fun things are going to be happening with you this episode, so you better buckle up, pal. Brain chip. Boom. And for now, that is all the chips we have in our inventory, I believe. So, we've got a bit of HP training to do. We've got a bit of MP training to do. Our offense is perfect. Our defense needs to go up 100, but our speed and brains are actually nearly perfect. Weight needs to go up, but we are age 10. Now, what does all this mean, Jack? You might be asking. Why you stopped pausing that screen? Who cares? Well, ladies and gents, I think this is the moment in which we do a bit of grinding and we gun it for Metal Greymon and hope to the high heavens that we can pull it off. Now, I'm confident that we can because Phil is only age 10. I have seen Champion Digimon last until they're age 14. Regardless of what anybody on the internet tells you, I have seen it with my own eyes and I know for a fact that it can happen. That being said, it is often the case that Phil will digivolve around about the ages of 12, 13, and maybe even 14 if it pushes to that late. So let's stop talking, beating around the bush, and actually get grinding and see how we get on. Alright guys, I guess you guys have probably realised it by now, but I actually have a HP chip in my inventory, which makes me feel like a giant doofus. Don't know why I blanked that, I guess I'm just a special case today. So yeah, silly Jack, I did a silly, and we'll see if it matters. She's got class and style, street knowledge by the pound, yeah. Baby never act wild, very low key on the profile. Catching feelings isn't all. Let me show you how it goes. Love's the word, spins the vibe. Love is the girl, freak what you are. I like the way you work it. Don't dig it. I'm about to bag it up. I like the way you work it. Don't dig it. Okay, homies, back in. We're into the next day. Phil's just woken up from his overnight sleep. And now we are age 13, our weight is 31, and we are super close to hitting these requirements. So I thought from now on we'll just tune in live with you guys and see what happens as we go. So speed 288, we're going to have to do this another twice, I believe. So we're going to hit Phil with one of these, and also one more. Now I don't think this is going to proc Phil's Digivolution because his weight is still not good enough, but you never know. So let's check this real quick. He doesn't. Okay, fantastic. That was to be expected, but again, sometimes this game gives me surprises, even though I've played quite a bunch. We're going to head along and pick up our meat for the day, and I think we're going to start bulking Phil. He's not going to be very happy about it, but at the same time, he's not really got a choice in the matter. So, Palmon, we've got our 3 pieces of meat, and we're going to start off by feeding Phil a Digimushroom. Hopefully, this doesn't satisfy him in one go. To be expected, it did not. We're going to feed Phil another Digimushroom. And hopefully this doesn't satisfy him in one go. Excellent. So the reason we've done that is because the Digimushrooms are very small in terms of how much they fill, but they also put his weight up one at a time. Now, if we had fed him a giant meat straight off the bat, he might have not wanted extra food. So by doing that, we actually crammed an extra 2 weight onto Phil, which is now our main objective, without causing any drama and force feeding him. Weight is 35. I quoted earlier that the target weight for Metal Greymon is 60, but I actually think it's 50. Let's find out if that is accurate. So, we've got 2 giant meats here. We're going to feed these to Phil real quick. Again, watch his happiness and discipline, because this is quite important. As we force feed him when he's not hungry, again, not a care mistake, but he isn't going to like it that much. So we're going to do this real quick. And that's us out of giant meat. So now we're going to have to quickly buy some from Palmon. Right, here you go, buddy. Just close your eyes. This is for the goodness of your health. Trust me. So 43. One more of these, and then one more Digimushroom. Alright, Phil. Fingers crossed this time, lad. I believe. Don't let the team down. Let's go. Alright, guys. I think it's time. I'd like to make a toast to Phil and all of his stat crunching that he's been doing in the past 2 days. Can I get some Digivolution hype down in the comments? And just like that, little Phil grew up once again. And what else is going to happen here? So, most importantly, one of the main objectives of us doing this in the first place was to raise our tamer level. So because we've cracked an ultimate, we now advance a stage of our tamer level. So instead of being absolutely shit zero, we're now 1 novice. Not a huge improvement, but still much better than nothing at all. So we now have Metal Greymon, and what does that mean for Phil and the rest of the crew? First of all, Phil only knows Metal Sprinter. Sprinter it is actually. I thought it was Splinter, but apparently it's Metal Sprinter. This move is Machine, as you can tell down here by the Machine or the mech type row of moves, if you like. As he is Metal Greymon, he is obviously part type Machine, and so his moves are restricted. His Spitfire, his Magma Bomb are unfortunately no longer able to be used. We can still use Heat Laser, so I guess we stick that on because it's worth a little bit less MP, I guess. And also we can't use our dynamic kick that we picked up earlier on. So what we're going to do with the rest of this episode is we're going to go and take out Phil, aka Metal Greymon, for a spin and see how he fares against some enemies that we could pick up potentially some moves from. So I'm going to head over to where those enemies are, and I'm going to chat to you guys real quick in a bit. Alright homies, we back once again, and this time we are now in the Great Canyon. Okay, and the reason we're here is because the first enemy that we're going to be fighting against and trying to grind a couple of moves from is this little fellow here. This is Giromon. Now he's a small fry, and I don't think we'll have too much trouble from him, but he does have 2 important moves that we can hopefully pick up. So there's quite a few things to talk about, but that right there is, I believe, is Buster Dive. And that's one of the things we're going to hopefully grab from him. So we're going to gun it out against this guy for a while until we get it. It's probably going to take a few goes, but as always with the power of editing, we're going to show you guys the important bits. I'm going to grind out until we get it and then come back to you. Before that, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. First of all, this move that you're seeing now is Metal Splinter. It is the weak-ass machine move that you are blessed with when you get given Metal Greymon for the first time. It is AoE, but it has an extremely short range, and as we've discussed multiple times, it does not do a lot of damage, which kind of sucks. So the main reason we're out to get these moves is to try and get Phil buffed up just a little bit, because really he's a man of status at this point, and we want him to strike the fear that he deserves to be striking when we're fighting against all the plebs that challenge us in File City Island, or File Island rather. So we're going to have a little go against this guy. Also, as I mentioned before, you guys might have been surprised thinking that Metal Greymon was going to be orange as he is in the show and the anime and the manga and whatever else there is Digimon related. Unfortunately, he is this kind of, not unfortunately, but he is this dark navy blue colour instead. Again, it looks kind of like he's some sort of evil Metal Greymon. Again, I don't know why he turned out like this, but this is just what we've got, and this is what he's going to be looking like for the next few in-game days. Excellent. Alright, we'll just quickly grab this real quick. So, Megaton Punch learned. One of our moves, excellent. But we're not done here. We're going to come back in and reset this guy a couple more times. So, yes, we've got 2 new abilities because our stats are now up to everything that we were aiming for in terms of our HP and MP, but we also gained an extra 500 HP, and we also gained an extra 100 speed and 100 brains. Now, because our brains has went up 2 sets of 100 since the last time we were in battle, we have 2 new sort of abilities that we can activate when fighting. So let's quickly have a look at these 2. They're not that exciting, but we'll go over them real quick anyway. So before, we only had Your Call, Attack, Moderate, and, well, that was it, and Run Away, obviously. But we don't run anyway because we're badass. We now have Defensive, which is going to make Phil basically hunker down and become extra resistant to abilities. So he's going to block more, take less damage. It's quite a good posture if you're trying to stall out a fight that you think you're not going to win because you're going to run out of mana. In this case, it's great because we are not going to one-shot our friend Giromon here until he uses his move, which he just did there. The other ability that we've picked up from stacking our brains up another 100 is Change. And Change basically lets us pick different targets when fighting multiple enemies in the same battle. So before, we just had to rely on Phil and his ever-loving ability to pick and choose the targets on his own. Now we can actually say, no Phil, don't target that guy, target the big guy in the corner, etc, etc. Or the small guys, depending on which strategy is required in different scenarios. So we've got a bit more flexibility. So that kind of explains that. So again, I'm going to tune back out real quick, come back as soon as we learn the move from this little fellow, and we'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, in case you were interested, this is Phil's new ultimate. that is one badass move, in my opinion. One of my favourites. Alright, come on. Please. Teach me, senpai. No! Fuck you! No. Oh my god. Of course. Ah, you bastard. You fucking little bastard. You motherfucker. Alright. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Let's go. Oh. No. Why? Alright guys, we've been at this a while and unfortunately we haven't picked up Buster Drive from Giromon and I don't know if he's going to give us it, but we'll maybe come back another time. For now, our HP and our MP is getting kind of low, so we're going to head back to the city. I'm going to rest up, get our HP and MP back, stock up on some items, and I'm going to meet you guys this time at Factorial Town. So I will see you guys there. Alright my friends, now that we're back in Factorial Town, our next target is going to be a Giromon. Now we don't want to have to fight these two Giromon because fighting two at once doesn't really make a lot of sense when we can find one on his own through here. Now the reason we're going to be fighting against this particular enemy is because he can teach us our next move, and that's going to be Power Crane. Power Crane is another machine type move, and although it's not really that much amazing or much better than the one we've got, it is technically better than the one we've got. So we're going to quickly heal up Phil because I didn't realise our HP was so bloody low. So we're going to grab that, we're going to top up his MP a little bit, and hopefully this fight won't take too long. I mean the fight itself is going to be fine, but hopefully we can pick up the move soon. That right there is Power Crane, and that's exactly what we're trying to get. What I'll do is, as always, going to jump back to you guys as soon as we pick up the move and save you guys some time. And hopefully that won't be too long. Alright, see you in a bit. Alright boys and girls, we actually got it almost first try, which is absolutely fantastic. We're going to move on to our next enemy and pick up our next mech skill. We can even maybe have a quick look at Power Crane, check out stats real quick. So we've got it down here. Actually 226 is much better than the two moves that we've got. Along with Megaton Punch, we might actually have a decent set of moves starting to wrap up here. Obviously, we're not going to stop at that because we've got Metal Greymon and we're going to use his full potential. So we will be right back in just a second for a much bigger enemy that is hopefully going to teach us a much bigger move. So again, see you guys in a bit. Alright fam, back once again. This time we're deeper into Factorial Town and we are actually at the door that we passed earlier on in this episode. If you remember, it wasn't that long ago for you guys, but we went across and into that room where we found the chests and we got all our chips for Phil. This time we're going to actually head into this door and find out what's on the other side because I think we're now ready. I think Phil's ready and we're going to find out what's causing all the mischief in here. So let's see. Right, it's you. This prick. I mean, Giromon. Giromon is actually the one that's causing the problems in Factorial Town. He's meant to be some sort of defense server maintenance program that keeps everything safe, but instead he's actually doing the opposite and fucking up as much shit as he can. Now, Giromon is an ultimate Digimon, and so this fight's going to be tough, but on the plus side, the reason it's good for us is now being part machine type, Phil can actually pick up a sick amount of moves from this guy if we get extremely lucky. Now the odds are going to be against us, but we're going to try our absolute best and hopefully pick up something useful. Now, the plus about fighting Giromon is that his ultimate move, which he can use on us in battle, is extremely shit. Alright, you might get a chance to see it, in fact you probably will. He conjures up a little ball, which is like a little bomb mine, and he throws it at you. Now, as long as it doesn't touch you, it doesn't do any damage whatsoever, and it rarely does hit you. So unless Phil slips on a banana peel, we shouldn't take any damage from Giromon's ult. That being said, we also want him to use some of his big moves on us so that we get the chance to learn them. We'll probably see that in just a few seconds. See, Phil's actually being a top lad right now and Megaton punching the shit out of Giromon, and so we're not getting to see any moves. That's one of them. We'll see if we can get any more here. Alright guys, it looks like you're actually getting a chance to see Giromon's ult right now, and I'm afraid that's it. You know, as we kind of talked about earlier, it's not that great a move. As long as Phil doesn't stand on that, we're Gucci. So, Let's try and avoid that at all costs, and hopefully finish this guy off with our ultimate. That was a tired effort, but you know, it's getting late. Right, so he's still gone into slumber mode. Let's see if we can close out this fight and defeat this guy once and for all. Right. So with that, we managed to defeat Giromon. Ultimate or no ultimate, we kicked his ass, we picked up a lot of stats, a lot of money, and we're actually, well, alright money. And then we're also going to pick up a chip. Now, the main thing we want off this guy is a couple of abilities. The odds are against us, but with a bit of luck, we might actually pick up something. So, fingers and toes crossed. Here we go. So, we pick up the defense chip. And we actually pick up reverse program as well. So, we didn't actually pick up Dimension, DG Dimension. But, do you know what? Sometimes you don't get any moves from that guy, so I'll take it. That's another ability that we can add to our skill tree. And hopefully keep Greymon and Phil along, getting better along the path of solidness, if that makes sense. So, with that, Giromon face plants like an absolute champion onto the floor. We're losing electricity. Let's talk to Andromon and stop the factory wastewater. So for now, Giromon's just chilling on the floor, and we can't really talk to him that much. We're going to pick up our well-earned defense chip and head on back out to speak to Andromon. Yo, Andromon, we fixed the problem that you were having with your psychotic machine program thingy. I have to apologise. Do that later. You got to stop the factory machines right now. Alright, he says. Very calmly, Andromon decides to close all of his tabs of pinball that he's playing, deletes his browsing history, and decides that he's going to shut down all the machines. So I guess we've got one last thing to check up on, and that is down in the sewers themselves to make sure that everything is right and dandy. Now, I'm pretty sure Phil's hanging on by a thread here in terms of his health and HP, so if we can just sneak past these losers here, we can hopefully get into the sewer, talk to Nunamon, make sure everything's okay, and close out this episode. So let's see. Maybe everything's not okay down here. Maybe everything's dead. But that would be a bit dramatic. Good, the sewer is back to normal. He'll be alright now. I think the problem's solved. So, never mind, Numamon's still freaking the fuck out. I guess there's no rest for the wicked. I like how Metal Greymon's tail is just clipping through us right now. Okay, and now we've just done a 180 on him. Sick. Alright, and Numamon is technically a boss fight, but as you're about to see, he's not really a boss fight. Because, well, he does do massive ass moves like that, but he also gets one shot, so God bless his little cotton socks. He goes into pancake mode, and I think he's going to drop us a chip as well. And 100 bits. God bless. An MP chip. We'll take it. I'm tired. What happened to you guys? He sounds dumber. Maybe he regained his senses. So just like that, Numamon is cleaned up. The sewers are back to normal. And we can finish this by going back and speaking to our boy Andromon. So let's quickly grab this and head on back. Yo, Andromon, we finally cleared up your sewers as well. I mean, if there's anything else you want us to do, like mow your lawn or do your dishes or anything like that, just let us know, because apparently we're doing everything for you. We're so sorry. We'll close the factory down for a while, says Andromon. Because of the trouble now, no one can say what's going to happen. It's not your fault. Kinda is, though. I think there's somebody controlling Giromon. So maybe there are actually higher powers at large here. Computers were destroying and wastewater was starting to leak. Shit was hitting the fan, Andromon. What were you going to do about it? That water made the Digimon insane, and I don't think it's a coincidence. These computers have something blah 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 blah. But due to Giromon's riot, the data was destroyed. You've never seen the data? No. Well, we'll be able to repair some of it, and he's going to try and connect it for us. Okay. So, I'll be a while, I'll reopen the town entrance, so come back again. And I'll show you what he means by that in just a second. So, for now, Andromon is going to take some time to repair Factorial Town. And we are going to come back here later on. Once shit has calmed down, once he's actually repaired things, we're going to return and talk to, I think it's Andromon himself, and then also Giromon when he comes back to life and calms down a bit, and then speak to them. Now this is a massive open doorway that connects to a new part of the map that we've never been to before. And although a lot of you guys are probably familiar with what's through there, we're not going to go in just now. We're going to use our remaining autopilot, jet back to the city, and gain some well-earned rest. Because Phil has done a shit ton of things today. He's ate chips, he's kicked the shit out of Factorial Town, and he's also learned a bunch of moves. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. This is the end of this episode. I'm sorry about the missed episode yesterday, and I hope that this makes up for it. If you guys enjoyed the video, always make sure to give us a like, and definitely make sure to leave us a comment, because me and Phil have always got time for you guys and to hear what you guys have to say. So thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow with a new episode and some more saving of File Island. Cheers guys, see you later.